Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. Tonight I'm going to just discuss Tazowa. This is a topic that comes up all the time. And this week and last week I had a rough time dealing with teachers on the page complaining about it, continuously sending me inboxes and asking me questions about what is the actual hourly rate that they offer you and what can you expect to earn from Dazoa. Now I'm making this video knowing that the company itself might be watching the video, including countless recruiters because I think I think Dazoa has the most recruiters of almost any other company I've seen. Them Dazoa and Magic Ears probably have the most recruiters I've ever seen, and they're definitely on a hiring spree at the moment due to the Chinese holidays that are coming up. All right. So what I'm going to share with you is what I know based on 6 months of correspondence with countless teachers regarding Dazoa. First of all, when you apply to Dazoa, I get the impression that you really don't know what you are going to earn. Okay. I have teachers that claim to be earning $5, $4, $6, and up to $7. And the one individual I spoke to who is earning the $7, he falls into that very rare special category because he's pretty much the only one I think that I've corresponded with that I know very well, and it's an incredibly reliable source. And I've known him for a long time, so if he tells me he's earning $7 an hour, then I believe him. The average hourly rate is about $4 an hour. Tazowa claims to increase your income after X amount of time. Some people say after 2 months, some say after 3 months. And then I used to have a lot of Zoom meetings, and the people in my Zoom meetings told me, and everybody else who were on the Zoom meetings would confirm what I'm about to say to you. Um, the majority of teachers who got started off on only $4 an hour have remained on $4 an hour for a long time. In fact, none of them have ever told me that their income has been increased. By that, I'm not claiming that it will not increase. I have just not spoken to anybody, and I've spoken to a lot of people who have told me, well, I started off on $4 an hour and now I'm on $5 or $6 an hour. Again, please understand this so that I don't come across as being condescending towards Tazowa. I am making this video based on 6 months of correspondence, like I said earlier on. Uh, Unfortunately, the impression that I get is, and I said this right in the beginning, when you apply to this company, you really have no idea what you will be offered and for how long you will be earning it. Okay. Um, Today we also had a long rant about Azoa again uh, because we had somebody advertising Dazoa for offering between $6 and $7 an hour. When this recruiter was confronted by the issue, he then turned his story around and said, well, actually, we start you on $4 an hour and then we systematically increase your hourly rate. Um, I mean, needless to say, $4 an hour is an appalling hourly rate. Uh, if it is, in fact, the case that your income will be increased to $5 an hour, well, then you certainly don't deserve an Academy Award for that either. Um, because, like I said in a previous video of mine, how do you determine what is a good hourly rate for you or not? Okay, because if you want to be a full-time online teacher, and this is where you have to draw a very def- definite distinction. You get online teachers who only teach online part-time, and then you have online teachers who work like myself, who work as online teachers full-time. This is what I do for a living, and I cannot make a living from $5 an hour. It's just impossible. because I think the average person can manage between 100 and 110 hours a month. That is to say, if you get those hours, there's no guarantee that any company will ever give you 100 hours a month. Even if it's a really busy company with a lot of bookings, uh, getting 80 hours a month is a pretty good booking rate. But even at 100 hours, you'll only be earning $400. And quite honestly, you have no idea how long you will be stuck on that. Now, again, I am not here to judge Tazowa. Uh, I am concerned about this, however. And thank goodness I don't work for any of these companies, because I can literally say what everybody else is too afraid of saying. Uh, because it's very likely that after making this video, they will never ever consider me. Not that I would apply to them. Not because that I'm better than anybody else, but I have my own niche that I work in now. And this is just a review, and I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Do I have a prejudice against them? Certainly not. There are companies out there that are offering lower hourly rates. Not many, I might add, but there are companies out there that are offering lower hourly rates. Um, if I were a new teacher and I have absolutely no experience teaching and I want to accumulate a couple of hours to develop my online teaching skills and to get into the business of online teaching, then well, um, sure, I mean, go for it. But if you're an experienced teacher, um, and you are a full-time online teacher, of course, I mean, if you can get a job and you don't have one, again, guys, I I only want what's best for you. That's why I like today. I'm pretty exhausted. I had I taught so many hours today, but and that's why I'm stuttering slightly. But before you say yes to taking any job, consider what your overheads are, because online teaching, I think a lot of people think that online teaching seems to be so very different from any other job out there. And the reality is it's not, because you have to consider many of the same things. My lighting is awful tonight. I'm really sorry about that. Um, you have to consider the same things. You have to consider what it costs you to be an online teacher. I mean, you have to buy a laptop. In South Africa, you're going to need a UPS. There's no way around that. Don't even try to think that it's not necessary or you'll worry about it later on. Sooner or later, load shedding will catch up on you, and you'll either get a warning, a fine, or lose your job. Okay. And it's not just bad for you, but it's bad for every South African out there who's trying to make a living out of online teaching. So I would really encourage you to take that into account. And then you have to look at how much you're spending to be able to remain online and to teach the hours. I mean, if you have a modest internet connection, uncapped one, some of them aren't even 10 megabytes per second up and down, it's going to cost you at least 1,000 rand. Okay, at least. Um, and on $4 an hour, I don't know if you end up winning at the end of the day, because then your net income is reduced to 5,000. Okay. In addition to which you have other costs like power. You might think that I'm making up arbitrary costs just to try and prove my point, but I'm not. Because the room that you're sitting in and teaching needs to get paid somehow. Whether you're living in an apartment or in a house with somebody, but you need to end up earning more than you're spending. Okay. And and that's also only a baseline consideration. I mean, who on earth wants to sit for 100 hours a month only to be able to pay rent? I'm sure some people would, and I have a lot of sympathy for those who do it due to a lack of options. But if you're looking to make a career out of online teaching, I'm not quite sure if Tazowa can guarantee you that. They certainly say that they can increase your hourly rate, um, and I could take it on good faith, possibly, although I don't take anything advertised by schools on good faith anymore. And that is due to trial and error and based on my personal experience. You don't have to agree with me, but that's how I feel about it. I will never forget the one Saturday afternoon I hosted an online Zoom meeting where any teacher who wanted to join had a room number and a password, and everybody could just join. This lady, you could see, I mean, wonderful accent, neutral um, background, lighting, everything perfect. Came across immediately as being competent and experienced. She worked for Tazowa for months, and they kept her on $4 an hour. Now, yeah, a teacher with that type of background and experience should never ever get offered $4 an hour in the first place. Um, so, yes, no matter what job you are looking for, you need a company that you can rely on. Okay, and as I said in a previous video, it seems like reliability is a huge commodity these days with online teaching. Um, so, if you're going to apply to Tazowa, you need to know you have no idea what your hourly rate is going to be. I haven't heard of anybody earning less than $4. So, in all likelihood, they're going to start you off on $4. And how long they're going to keep you on $4, that is, who knows? Who knows? And if after 6 months they increase your income to $5 an hour, my goodness, I'm not sure if then. I don't think you should celebrate and say, wow, okay, 6 months later I've increased my income to $5 an hour. I mean, I'd be happy for you that you're earning a lot more, but um, the attitude of the recruiters on the page, in addition to everything else, is appalling. They are taking on my teachers on this page, and this I do not like. If any of the recruiters on Dazao watches this video, please understand very clearly, my teachers don't know what they are going to earn when they apply to you, because your posts are ambiguous and unreliable. So if they make comments regarding the issue and you are going to treat them disrespectfully, I'm going to remove your ad from our page, and you can go post a Tazowa ad somewhere else. Okay, but on our page we treat our teachers with respect, and our teachers are our first priority. Okay, so that is absolutely unprofessional, and it is nonsense, and it's intolerable that a recruiter starts having a go at teachers who have worked for them for months and haven't had an increase in salary. Why are they not allowed to say that? Um, we had the one Dazawa recruiter who had a massive argument with a long list of teachers on our page because she wanted to convince everybody that if you live in South Africa, 6,000 Rand a month, if you earn that, then you're pretty well off. That's my rent. That's my rent. And I know I am not rich. I don't presume to be either. But I mean, I always take the single mother scenario, or a young man or a woman who's just trying to start out. I mean, where on earth are you going to get an apartment for less than 3,500 Rand a month? And then I'm talking about a really small apartment. And then you still need to get uncapped Wi-Fi. So how are you going to successfully put forward an argument that living off 6,000 Rand a month is a good income? So I'm not ranting. These are facts, and these are the facts that everybody needs to take into account, including the self-righteous, arrogant recruiters. Okay, so it's literally reached a point now where I made a video about this so that we can all have clarity. They're most likely going to start you on $4 an hour. They claim that it's based on your demo and your CV and blah, but you just don't know. Just really don't know. Because I know teachers, like I said, the one lady on the Zoom, her CV is incredibly impressive, and obviously she has a very neutral accent, more neutral than the average South African, I would say that, and years of experience, and they've kept her on $4 an hour. That doesn't go down very well with me. Okay, now that did sound a little bit like a rant, but the facts that I've put forward is it's beyond reproach. Okay, so at least with regards to that, I've been objective. Now, there's another company called Anthony. It's a Vietnamese company. They are recruiting at the moment. They don't play games with you. They start you off on $5 an hour. That's it. Okay, and they have an incredibly good booking rating as well. So it's not like Tazowa can claim that they have a better booking rating. I know this because I taught a couple of hours with this company and I had to stop them literally because they were bombarding me with students and I just couldn't deal with it. I still have connections with Anthony, and I mean, I guess I could refer any of the teachers on my page to, or on our page to Anthony, and probably put in a good word. But I'm not in the business of offering teachers jobs that only pay $5 an hour. Nevertheless, if you want to, you can ask me. And like I said, I do not take commission or money from any company, and this you can double check. I'm, I, I'm willing to challenge anybody out there who seeks to contradict me on that. I have some recruiters on our page, which I do help, like Hanali and Jolene. And the reason for that is because of the feedback that I get from my teachers who have worked with them. Okay, so the rest of the time I have invited recruiters to do interviews with me so that they can put forward their case. Decline, decline, decline. Why? If you have nothing to hide, okay? I have no intent of placing them in a hot seat. But if you have nothing to hide, then why refuse the transparency or the opportunity to put your case forward or advertise your company? Because I'm sure as heck not working for them, but I'm doing it for the benefit of our page. So if but none of them really want to, because once they've entered into a conversation with me, then they commit. And the impression that I'm getting is that these companies just want one disclaimer after the other. Now, this does not only apply to Dazawa. That's why I said these companies. So, guys, that is the story with Tazowa. I have a friend, but he was the guy earning $7 an hour, and he said you could make close to $1,000 a month at a rate of $7 an hour. And he was working himself to death. He was always complaining. If they get you to that rate, then I would be a lot more supportive, because I know what these guys are getting paid from the Chinese schools on average. And I have a very good idea of what the overhead costs are to run a company like Tazowa. And more often than not, the companies take more money than they actually pay the teachers. So, okay, having said all of that, uh, at the end of this video, like I always say, please, if you found this helpful in some way, and you want to get regularly updated on what's going on our page and the online industry in general, please ring the bell and click subscribe. And every time that I premiere a new video, you'll have access to any of the information that I'm putting up. Then, guys, please, at the end of the video, have a look at the description section. I've attached 2 more links for you, guys. I'm really spoon feeding you. You need to apply to these jobs, because every single teacher that I know, and that counts for a lot. I mean, I know more online teachers than I actually have friends at the moment. They all applied to at least 50 or 60 different schools all over. Oh, and one last thing. There are some companies out there that require a degree. And I know a lot of guys who applied without a degree. They didn't lie. Be careful. They didn't lie, but the interview went very well and they got the job despite the fact that they didn't have a degree. So the better thing to do is to ask around, especially if it comes to teaching kids. When it comes to teaching adults, they're quite rigid about the degree issue. Although there are companies that hire teachers to teach adults that don't require a degree. But with regards to companies who require degrees for teaching young kids, they're not all flexible. Please just understand. I'm just saying sometimes it's worth a shot. Okay, so you can apply anyway, and if you have a really good introduction video and a good profile picture, they sometimes employ you anyway. All right, guys. So I wish you all the best. Um, I'm working on another long list for you. I'm overwhelmed with work at the moment, but I'll try and get to it before the end of the week. I wish you all the best, guys.